been thrown out. Pop it
And
up,
it's
turn
always
that bread
plugged up.
around, put it back down because only one side is cooking.
That's right.
The reason that is because it has a short in it.
Okay.
Okay? And toasters ignite when they start. They set off a spark. If you look down in the
Right.
toaster
That's
when you
right.
push the button, it sets off a spark. So that's very important to remember. And then the other thing you want to remember is when you do have a fire in your house, especially when you have children, teach them where to use the phone at. Okay, you never use a phone in your house, and you never answer it if it's ringing, because the fire might be electrical in source and started at the pole, and every line in your house, including the cable, can be charged with 115 volts. Pick up the phone, talk about hello, you can get the shock of your life.
So where is
Okay?
the best place to
It's
use the
best to
phone?
go across the street, but if you lived across the street from a school or a business that's closed at night, then you would have to go to your neighbors. But remember, a driveway apart is not far enough to keep a fire from jumping. A fire can easily jump from one house to another, so you want to go one house away. But the best place to go is, like you said, across the street. And teach them to dial 911, very important, and teach them to say the address first. Because remember, 55 seconds is not a long time. So the sooner they say the address, the sooner you can get a fire truck to your house. Then they should say their name and what their emergency is, whether they need the police, ambulance, or a fire truck. However, if they need a fire truck, the next thing they should do after they hang up that phone, and the whole family should be going to the meeting place. And the best place that to be is across the street on the sidewalk. Because when I pull up directly in front of your house.
Yes.
And what do I know about your house? Nothing but it's on fire. But a 2-year-old can tell me everything I need to know. How many
That's
people
right.
live there? Where mama and daddy and brothers and sisters' windows at? And that since you practice this and talk about it once a month, they know that everybody in that house is supposed to be standing on that sidewalk. And as parents, the first thing we do when we come out of that house is look for our children.
That's right.
And when we don't see them, we're tempted to go back in. But our rule is when you get out and you stay out.
That's right.
Because 9 times out of 10, people that go back in get about 4 or 5 steps in that house, get a bunch of that toxic smoke in their lungs, and they're done. They'll never make it back out. So get out and stay out is very important. And the other thing is that never, ever send your children at the matches or lighters. Always keep them up and put away. And teach your children to not touch them, but come and get you so you can go get them so another child doesn't come along and get them. Because when a child gets a hold of matches and lighters, first thing they do is start playing
They
with
start
them.
playing.
They end up setting something on fire, and it's usually carpet or furniture. And once that happens, they get scared because they're in trouble, so they try to cover it up. And when that doesn't work, they don't come and tell you, they go hide themselves. And if it's been smoldering for a while, it can burst into flames in the middle of the night when everybody's asleep.
Wow.
Unnoticeable, and everybody in your house
Very
can
important
perish.
to know.
Very important.
Tell us about pet safety
Pet
and
safety.
fires.
I know everybody loves dogs and cats. We all have them, but we never have to worry about dogs and cats in a fire. First off, the smoke and heat rises. The good and cool air is down low. The dog and cat is down low. And as soon as you open that door, whoop, right by you. Because actually, they've been wondering what's wrong with you. What's taking you so long to get up out this
Yes.
house? Okay? So all you have to do is open that door, open that window, and they going out with you. Matter of
They'll
fact, they
beat
probably
you
go out for you. Okay?
They're going to beat you up.
And like my dog will be in the meeting place.
Right, sitting on the corner.
Sitting on the corner, waiting, or sitting across the street directly in front of your house. Very important. And it's very important to teach your kids that not to go far away, because when you come up front and you don't see them, you panic.
And you're going to go back in.
Right. But we never do that, because once we get out and we stay out.
But you know,
Main
a
rule.
natural instinct, so we must teach our children where the meeting
And we
place
must
is.
teach ourselves, because as you just said,
Natural instincts.
You want to go back in and save your child, but you're not going to save your child. As a matter of fact, you're going to make things worse. Because remember, I have 23 years on the fire department, and most of the house calls I've made, I've caught people at their absolute worst. But in recent years, things have been a lot better. Just recently, there was a young lady, 9 years old, up on Stewart Street, got her whole family out. And when the news media came and asked her, and this is probably one of the biggest rewards I've ever had on the job, and I didn't even know this happened until I was just happened to be watching the news. And they got all the cameras in their face. Well, how did you know what to do? How did you learn that? She stepped back, put her hands on her hip, and said, "Fireman come to my school every year and teach us what's wrong with y'all."
Wow.
And I
That's
was like,
awesome.
yeah, that's really
I must
awesome.
commend
That's-
you on your
that-
efforts. That's
no,
awesome
I must commend her.
for learning
There
and
you go.
remembering and
remember.
applying.
And one of the other biggest rewards I had was I'm committed to going to the schools, each and every community school we have in Flint every year. And I went to Stewart School, and Stewart has a center on one side of it, so I set up in the parking lot there. There's a playground right there. There were about 60 kids out on the playground, and they started singing the songs I taught them in the fire safe house. And they were out there jamming. I mean, they were singing them loud, clear, and everything, and I was really impressed by that.
Tell me about the song about the when you have a skillet or a pan on the stove with the handle hanging out.
Well,
how do you address that?
One of the things we
musically
must remember. Well, I'm not musical, but one of the things we must remember is that our 2, 3, 4-year-old children, they learn by watching what we do and imitating it. If they see that handle sticking out, they want to reach up and grab it, and they take a chance of being burned. So, what I teach them to do, and in the fire safe house, it just happens to work out. I teach them to say to the window, to the wall, so our shorty can't grab it and the pot will never fall.
All right.
And then the other thing is when I have them back in the living room where I usually put the smoke at, I get the smoke in there, have them all open their eyes, and stop making all that noise because, you were ready to break yourself.
That's right, because that fire spread rapidly.
Right.
I mean, the smoke
So,
spread rapidly.
I teach them when we got smoke up above, we get down low. We got smoke up above, we get down and go. We crawl all the way to the door and we never panic. No, no, no. And one of the things about if you have small children, 1-year-old or younger, if you had to get them out of the house.
Hold that thought 1 second for me. We're going to take a break here on Common Ground, and we'll be right back with Mr. Ron Thomas, first driver for the City of Flint Fire Department.
We'll never stand. You couldn't agree on the rock, so you're sunk in the sand. So this is why we're here, putting out a call to open up your eyes so that we can see all of the problems, the mishaps, and the big mistakes, and separate the leaders from the phonies and the fakes.
Everyone is entitled to the due process of law. The dignity of every human being should go unquestioned in civilized society. Justice fosters economic growth, and countries cannot develop properly if they do not have a fair system. The judiciary must be the guardian of equal treatment for everyone. The poor are the ones most at risk when legal systems fail. Our dream is justice for all. Our dream is a world free of poverty.
Access television, no commercials, sit and listen. People just like you and me, voices of community, freedom to communicate only on cable. This is great, our nation.